This is a 2016 Keystone Cougar travel trailer, 28RL-SWE. So we really like it, but after we purchased it, we noticed that there were some problems with mice in the past, and these vents were loaded with mouse droppings. This one. So I cleaned them all out, and now I'm on to the heater. So heater's under the fridge here. So, oh, by the way, there is a huge nest in here to clean that out. And there are droppings everywhere in all these cabinets. So sanitize that with some bleach. So now what I'm going to do is take out the heater and replace those cheap foil heater ducts with semi-rigid aluminum. So I'm going to drop the underbelly. That's stage 2. Stage 1 is taking out the heater, cleaning that out, because when I also started the heater, it started on fire because there were nest materials in there, like Kleenex and paper towels and things like that, toilet paper. So you can see over here, you can see there's some leftover stuff that went right through the duct. And that was on fire. So got to clean all that out, start over. So here we go. I also found this. Basically, this is a 4-season trailer, so it has a heated underbelly. I put this on after the fact because I noticed that it was completely open, and they probably went into the underbelly and got up through this duct right into the heater and all the way throughout the whole coach. I'm going to do a better job at this when I redo it, but you can see, even if they didn't get in there, they could easily get through here. I mean, a rat could get through there. So all these I'm going to replace. The plan is to replace them with semi-rigid ducts. First task is to remove this heater. Okay, so I'm looking at get a closer look at this heater. There's some wires back there. If I need to take the whole heater out, I'm gonna have to snip those and then reconnect them when I'm done. I can just take off this front panel and be okay, and then somehow get to that duct to replace it. And I thought a smart thing to do before I get too far is to mark each one so I know where they came from. I'll mark it A, B, C. There's B. And I get to the underbelly. So one quick tip here, I found some more droppings. I don't know if you can see those right there. You're really not supposed to vacuum these up because it makes them airborne and they're really a lot more dangerous, toxic. So what I ended up doing was just taking some of this packing tape and sticking it to it and then just tossing it away. And then when I'm done with it all, I'm going to spray it with bleach yet again to make sure I got everything disinfected. So I cut the power and I switched to lantern power here, and I removed that gas line right there. I also removed the 2 screws, mounting screws here and here. Now you can see it can slide around. So all I got to do now is get in there and cut those wires. I'm going to cut the wires as close as possible within reason to the heater, because the ones in there I'm going to have to reach back, so the longer they are the possible, so I'm going to cut them more towards the bottom. This may not show up. Bomb didn't explode. So let's see if I can muscle this thing out of here. I'm not sure how heavy it is. Kind of jiggle it out of the fittings, press fit the exhaust ports. So there's some more jiggling, came loose. There we go. Okay, almost there. There we go. It's a boy. Made it. Definitely got to clean all that out, so I'm going to take it outside. In the light of day, you can see a bunch of dirt and debris from the mice. So I've cleaned that up as best I can. Maybe I'll take this off. Now I noticed that I said those are 18 gauge wires that I'm going to plan on using, and these are 18 for the thermostat, but these are 14 gauge, so I'm probably going to have to buy a connector and some wires to do that part. Over here, these chewed on wires, you can see it's chewed bare all the way to the metal, so I'm going to have to replace that portion and patch it. But these are right up against the firebox, so I think I'm going to have to get some like silicone sheathing wire, some special wire for that, for the high temperatures. I'd show you taking off the metal housing here. Just gonna unscrew this one screw. I think that's the only thing that holds it in. Hopefully it'll just slide up, slide off. Let's see. So these guys had some repairs that they did previously, and you can see that there's a couple patches here. Just use drywall screws all the way around, so I'm going to try something a little bit different. I don't want to drop the whole underbelly because, as you can see, there's a rigid LP gas line that runs all the way up, and I don't want to have to deal with dropping that and perhaps having it leak since it's all rusted. Also, there's some, you know, the holding tanks all there. I don't want to have to deal with, you know, resealing this. So just going to drop what I need. So if I have to put this back on, I just made a little mark right there so I can line it up easily. And I'll just show you 1 or 2 screws coming out. It looks kind of okay, but I want to do something a little bit better with truss head screws. A little bit bigger thread. Okay, I got the cover off. Now we got a smaller hole here that they made, and it looks like they sealed it up here with packing tape. And then if you open it up, you can see inside one of the ducts here got thoroughly chewed through. Huge hole. So the mice were using this for a highway. Looks like they sealed this up and repaired it with packing tape as well, so that's not going to do for hot air traveling through this thing. Okay, got the last screw off this one in the rear, as you can see. I'm just going to lift it down carefully. And look here, as I suspected, there's all sorts of mouse droppings and dirt and stuff. So if you look up here, that was one thing I was afraid of. The other thing I was afraid of, really poor decision to use their good inch and a quarter. And they're going right up into the holding tank. So luckily this is like, you know, sagging down away from the tank and they're okay, but huge risk. So I don't know if you can see that with the wide angle, but anyway, I'm going to use a lot shorter screws. We bring ourselves up here. You can see that they might have tried to repair this duct as well. I thought there would be a hole here when I removed this tiny little panel they put on. And when I pulled it off, nothing. I have no idea why they put this here, so mystery. You can see that every so often they go across, because there's a cross member here, part of the frame. And here is the last one, and then they stop all the way to the front. So what I'm going to do is try to find them and then cut in between them, so I have some support, and I'll just like attach it when I'm done. So I'm gonna try to cut this in sections and see what we're cutting into first, little by little. I'm gonna slice as far as I can, and then maybe be able to spread it before I make more cuts. Yep. I don't want to cut too close here because I want to be able to reattach it. So I'll show you. Just cutting through as best I can. A little, gotta stretch it a little. Oh, might be cutting through something. Yep, see, that's what I was talking about, a wire. So I'm gonna stop cutting there. As soon as I feel something, I just stop. I got it by these LP lines. I can just hinge it down. Now I have full access. So this time I'm going to try to make a little round, or a fillet, rounded corner, so it doesn't tear as easily. Maybe more, maybe it doesn't matter, but I'm going to try anyway. Like that. Go around the corner. And a tank. See, be really careful. Up and I see a lot of evidence of mice and even a dead one right here. So that's probably what a lot of the smell was. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Multiple nests, multiple dead mice. So cleaning them all out to get an idea about how much that was in here. I mean, it's crazy. It was like a little city in there. A couple of cool inventions here. The wires are way back in there. Hard to reach. I used this handy little crimping tool from Irwin, and all you do is you set your length for stripping and you just take it one step, instant, like half a second, rather than struggling around with pliers and cutters and everything else. This just does the job. So I was able to go in here with this with one hand and crimp or strip all those wires there. And the second part of it, again, have to go in there with one hand to connect. So I use these wire connectors, and these are really cool because two colors, so you can gang them together. Right here, there's some little slides here. You can bring it in like that. You can put as many together as you want. So what I'm going to do, you just bring them up. Again, I'm going to try one-handed. We'll see if I can do it. And just stick it in and clamp it down and you're done. Got the wires ready. Hope you can see this. But just easy, one-handed. Okay, so now you can see back here we've got 2 and 2. I extended them out. Now it's really easy to reach. Reaches outside. I want to mention one quick thing. Since we had those heater wires, 4 wires here, different colors, and then the 2 thermostat wires, 2 different colors, black and white, on the heater, I figured I'll just see if I could find them all in one pack. And of course, they're good old Amazon. It had a 5-pack, so red, blue, white, green, and black, and they're all high temperature, 200 degrees C. So that's what I needed for the heat box thermostat wires. So I figured I'll just buy them all and use them all. And they're 14 gauge, I believe, so it worked for the thin 18 gauge before that came off of there. So it all worked out in one kit. And now the duct is here. That stuff is pretty cool. It's semi-rigid ducting, and it comes, I mean, I ordered 50 feet of it, you can see, but in order to get it to 50 feet I had to stretch it. It comes in like a, I don't know, if it was 6 or 8 feet it might not have even been that long, but it stretches out a lot. So I kind of just clamped it here and then took over there and pulled it all the way. It wasn't that easy, but I measured and I'm about 6 feet short. I didn't want to pull it too hard because I didn't want it to separate, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully I have enough. Switching to my iPhone for a minute so I can get up close. So what they did was they spray foamed this duct into place all the way around, all the way through that tank. So I had to peel it up. I also realized that since this is a spring, it's made from spring steel, very hard. I accidentally used my wire cutters, so be really careful about that. So always use, I ended up using my needle nose cutters, and that's also hardened steel, so the needle nose one, cut through them. Also wanted to show you, this is different. This is a different area than the hole I just showed you before in the other video. It's another hole they chewed through. So it's just riddled. So I think this is going to be an issue. This bolt here extends through the widest part of this frame, and the semi-solid doesn't kind of deform around it like this cheap plastic foil duct does. So I might have to hacksaw that off. So this little mini hacksaw works pretty well. Used it in tight spaces like this, so it's just going to take a little bit of elbow grease to get through it. Cut the bolt off, and now you can see there's a clear path, semi-rigid, to fit through. So I'm just going to go and keep feeding it through little by little. Take out the slack on the other side for the original duct. Here. Hopefully I can pull it through. That's really tight. It's going to be tough to get it through there. I'm going to have to open up the side right here. Of course, that's where the gray tank tube pipe drain is.